Hello, everybody. My name is Akita Akari Aurora, and it's been a minute, but I'm back. And I'm coming back because it's time to step on out again. And the reading that I'm going to do tonight is a reading that I actually already completed last week. And I did it for the time period of March the 2nd through March the 23rd, 2023. We're in a brand new season or cycle, and I felt that it was really important to look and see where we were now and how we're moving forward. I don't know if you got my outlook for 2023 for 2023. It's a very dynamic and potent and very positive year. We have a lot of great potential to tap into and a lot of opportunity at our feet and at our hands this year. But you have to know what to do and you have to be wise about how you navigate through everything that is going on. So I thought it was important to really bring this information to you and for you also to see the cards. I've been exploring several ways to deliver the information that I get when I do readings. It's very easy for me to sit down and pull cards. The challenging part for me is distributing the information and coming up with different ways to distribute the information because not everybody has the same attention span. Let's say that. All right. So I did a medicine wheel. Now, this is not going to be a short session. You might have to break this up into different parts, take your time with it. But keep in mind that whenever I do these readings, it is timeless. So whenever it gets to you, it's right on time, as well as they're very layered, right? And I use several decks. And the reason why I use several decks is to see really the cohesiveness in the spreads that I'm doing and to see which information is really repeated. And once it's repeated a lot, it shows me confirmation that that's definitely something that we are going to experience. Also keep in mind how I do readings. I'm here to show you potential and opportunity to guide you through something. I believe in the power of alchemy and I believe in the power of our wills. So everything that I'm showing you, you get to decide what to do with, So remember that everything is an opportunity and everything is potentiality. It's really up to you to decide which doors you walk through, how you walk through those doors, and that this energy is surrounding us. It's up to you to decide what you make of it and how you choose to use this this information, these opportunities that are coming your way, the potentials that are heading to us and that we're heading to. Okay. And also keep in mind as we go through this that what I'm learning as well for myself when I do these readings is to not so much focus on what I show you, but as well as to once I show it to you, your job is now to ask yourself, how do I best prepare myself to be able to, um, what's the word, to step into what's coming in a very empowered way. And I'll tell you why that's so important because in 2019, and one of the big things that I've been feeling right now is this reunion. That's the perfect word. So I'm gonna have to stop this video and start it again because there's something going on with Zoom's video feed. So once I see it, pause, and I'm hoping that the recording is still going on. Once I see the video freeze, I'll stop it just to kind of reset it and hopefully everything is working out. So Yeah, let me just make sure because I don't want to do this forever and then find out that it wasn't recording. Okay, it's still recording. Awesome. So get comfortable, guys. We're going to be here for a while. This is not a Snapchat or a TikTok. This is going to be a moment, right? We're going to be here for probably an hour. All right. So get comfortable. Get your cup of tea, get your dinner, whatever. Get comfortable and really absorb the moment and absorb the information. So preparation. I was saying that 2020 or in 2019, I was not doing readings, but I was tapping into a lot of information. I was tapping into a lot of astrology. I was tapping into a lot of readings from other people. And I was tapping into a lot of spiritual guides and spiritual teachers. And one of the main things that they were forecasting and showing was what 2020 was going to look like. And because I had that information, I made certain choices for myself in 2019. When 2020 came, the choices that I had made were very empowering for me, because what happened in 2020 did not impact me in a negative way. It actually was very supportive, and it allowed me to do the things that I was preparing to do. 2020 was not a surprise for me, and it was not a negative experience. And I would do it again, to be honest with you, right? Because it allowed me to do so much more during that year because of the guidance that I had received in 2020. Now, what I'm feeling now is that we're in this, and keep in mind that time is a cycle, right? It's not linear, it's circular, right? So we are in this reunion of not even so much a reunion. I'm using the word reunion. Think about it, like this year I'm celebrating my 20-year college reunion, right? So what is a reunion? It's when you go back, but you don't go back to the same, you go back to the same people and the same place, but everything has changed, right? So I think 2023 is kind of like that type of reunion year where we had this 3-year experience between 2020 and 2023. And now that we're in 2023, it's almost like we can look back and prepare ourselves with that hindsight, right? So it's not feeling so much like a relooping of 2019, but it's a reunion energy for me of 2019. And what does that mean? That means that just like how I knew there was something big coming in 2020 that was going to shake things up, and that I needed to prepare myself to be able to thrive during the shakeup. And while things were shaking up, that was an opportunity for me to build something new while everything was being shaken up. That's the energy that I'm feeling now for 2023. And this reading really kind of pointed that out too, confirmed that. I was feeling it before I did the reading. Once I did the reading, I was like, oh yeah, something's going down, right? So we're now in March of 2023. And between 2020, March 2020, and now we were in somewhat of a trial period. Whenever you have a trial period, you're in preparation for something else. So now that trial period has ended, there's something else. There's something big coming. There's something that might shake us off our feet. There's something that some of us might not be prepared for, that we didn't even think was coming. There's something coming that is going to change our mindsets, change our lives, just like how it happened in 2020. But guys, we made it through that. We're here and we're prosperous. we're creating, we're alive, we're healthy, we have family and friends and opportunities. So no matter what comes, we can thrive. We're not even, we've passed this whole I'm surviving things. We're passing the stage of victimhood. We're in the stage of thriving, and we're in the stage of winning, okay? And rising up. So the storms might come, the shakeups might come, the pandemics might even come, but we can not even get through it, but overcome it and come out of it stronger and wiser. Because that's what we did. We've already done that. So we can do it again. All right. So this is why I had to bring this reading to a video, because there's just so much there. And it's the message is really bigger than the cards, but the cards really help to pinpoint the message. All right. So what you see on the screen is actually the first layer of the medicine wheel. And also I have the cards here with me. Like I said, I did this on March 1st to really see what energy we were moving into as March came in and what we were going to experience with the month of March and beyond. So the first card that came up was the upper world. And and remember, the south position is always what we are shedding, what we're letting go. Okay. So the upper world being in the south position, what does that really mean? And what I saw there was that, okay, well, first of all, let's talk about what the upper world is, right? The upper world is, and by the way, you might see me do this during the reading because my upper chakras, throat, third eye, crown, air, have been going through a lot of transformation. And this air has been clogged, then unclogged, then clogged, then unclogged, then unclogged. So sometimes I have to go like this to create a little more space in my air so that I can hear. But anyway, so so this is the upper world, right? So in shamanism, when we do a journey to the upper world, a lot of that is done in order to bring in the new future, or to bring in the new destiny, not the new future, but to connect us with our destiny and to bring messages of guidance from the upper world. The upper world can be your ancestors, right? When we rattle, we shake up to the upper world and we go through different worlds, levels of different worlds. And there's I think there's the stone, the plant, and the stone, animal, plants, and then ancestors. I think that's what it is, right? So, but we go through those worlds, we take that upper journey. We can take a lower journey to retrieve some information, but we also take an upper journey. So we take that upper journey when, again, we're retrieving messages from the future, retrieving guidance from the future, right? When we're going to our higher selves to bring forth that message, as opposed to going to our past self to bring forth some information, right? So that being with the upper world being in the south position, what I saw here was a ceiling that we are letting go. It's like, we're elevating, we're elevating. So if we're releasing the upper world, for me, what that communicates to me is that we're releasing, we're moving up. We're going to another octave of ourselves, another dimension of ourselves. So if we were in grade 2, we're releasing grade 2 and we're going to grade 3. If we were in grade 6, we're releasing grade 6 and we're going to grade 7. If we were in college, we've graduating college, and now we head into to get our PhD, right? We're heading to grad school. So from undergrad to grad school, that's a really good example, right? So, or we're going from high school to college. So we're going up, right? We're releasing the lower level of ourselves. And that can include mindsets, habits, behaviors, limiting beliefs, people, everything. But also in terms of collective self, and because this is a collective reading for everybody, what we're really releasing too is how we see ourselves and how we operate as human beings. So this indicates that the energy coming in with March is really gathering us to tap into a new version of ourselves, to experience also the world in a different way. Just like, again, I'm going to use this correlation of 2020 now because we've been through it. We have that hindsight. Before March of 2020, things were completely different. And when I think the second or third week in March hit, the world changed. I think that's coming again. I think that's coming again. All right. Not that, but something that is going to come in that is going to change our world. But we're going up. And that's so important to remember these things, that when you see things happen, it's not for you to go down, it's actually for you to go up and to rise above the situation and say, hey, what is this gonna actually help me to become? It's not coming to destroy you, it's coming to bring you into more prosperity. That scripture came flying around me last week, which is one of my favorite. Chapter 29, verse 11. I think is it Joshua? I can't remember the book, but it's, I know I have a purpose and plan for you, and my plans are for prosperity, not to break you down, basically, right? So that's one of my favorite scriptures. And let me see, let me say it properly. I have my phone right here, and it was just circling around me last week. If I can find it. I talk to so many people about so many things. But it's a very powerful, yeah, and yeah, anyway, it's a very powerful scripture. And it's one of the things that we have to keep in mind as we see all of these things coming. And really, I might not memorize it, but it's embedded in me, and it's really how I operate every single day. When I see anything that really looks that it could really be a detriment as opposed to an empowerment, I remind myself that that things don't come to me to destroy me. Things come to me to propel me, right? And it's really how I respond to everything, not how you react, but basically how we're responding. And that's so crucial. All right, so if I don't find it within the next 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 2 scrolls. All right, let's move on. Ah, here it is. Just as I was about to move on. Here it is. Oh man. I thought it was close, but anyway, because something else was there, but anyway, all things work for our good. Let's just put it that way. That was another thing that came swirling around me last week. All things work for our good. Oh man, so much things happen. Anyway, moving on. So the upper world, right? Remember that we're going up. We're going to a new level. We're going to a new level. We're going to a new level of ourselves. We're also going to individually as humanity, we're going to a new level. And there are going to be a lot of things that happen here that might look again, just like how 2020 was. It looked like the world was going crazy, but here we are 3 years later, not crazy at all, quite sane. Some people are crazy, but they were crazy then too. So, let crazy be crazy and let intelligence be intelligent, right? Let wisdom be wise, right? So, it is what it is. While they go down, you go up. All right. And then the staff was the next card. Now the staff was upside down. And again, this is in the west position, right? So what does this tell me? This is the medicine wheel, the shaman's medicine wheel again, right? So with the staff being upside down, when I see the staff, I always think of something that you lean on and your authority. The staff represents our authority. This is upside down. The west is what we shed, or what we let die. Again, the south is what we shed. The west is what we're letting die. So the first part of the wheel, we're always releasing something. Where we're releasing, and then when we go up and around, is what we're calling in. So this indicates now there's a new authority coming in. The same thing here with going up to the upper world. We now have to give ourselves a new authority. And that new authority could again be, hey, I'm operating differently. So personally, for me, my focus now is money management. So my authority is cash, right? And prosperity, right? And abundance, and even for me, I'm getting back into I'm healthy, but I'm getting back into I'm losing some weight, right? So my authority is money management and my diet and nutrition, right? Just bringing that into more balance. So that's my focus this year. My authority is my structure, putting more structures into the businesses that I have, and putting more structure into my life, so that everything that I'm doing is really coming in a cohesive way, and it's flowing out, but it's also flowing back to me, to building up my abundance and building up my prosperity. It's all tying in one, right? So during different seasons, we have different authorities. In 2020, my authority was, hey, I was a student and I was learning these new things, and I was allowing myself to come into this moment. So what did I have to let go of? I had to let go of being the aromatherapist and operating the retail store or whatnot. You know what I mean? So there's always change coming. And when change comes, the best way to navigate through change is decide, hey, I'm letting go of something, but just because I let go of it doesn't mean I can't get back to it, or doesn't mean I'm giving it up. Letting go and giving something up is two different things. Now, sometimes we need to let go and give up. And sometimes we just need to let go and put some more focus on something else. So the new authorities of our lives, that's what the wheel is asking us to come into, a new authority, a new version of ourselves. Trust me, the message is repeated so much on this wheel. It's time for us to be new. Let's go into the north. The north is what we're calling in. And what came in was this beautiful energy of the wind. Now, what is the wind? The wind for me represents movement. The wind also represents truth and light, right? In a way, for me. So when I saw this, I thought, okay, this is definitely change coming in. Change, winds of change, wings, right? Flying, soaring up to the upper world. We're gonna have a new experience with life, right? Now, we don't know how these things are we don't know the what. So in 2019, I knew 2020 was going to be dynamic. Something was coming that was going to change our lives. Didn't know what it was, but when it started to show itself, I said, oh, there it is. It's happening now, right? So there's this change of wind that's coming in. Wind brings in truth. Wind helps us to propels us into a certain direction. So we don't know which way the wind is going to blow. We don't know what the wind is carrying when it comes, but we do know that some windy days are coming. Change is coming. So how are you preparing for a change? You know, it could just be even with your mindset to say, well, you know what? Let me not stick that in the ground right now. Let me actually just be a little more flexible. Let me prepare myself to be in an what's the word? Adaptative, an adaptable mood and mindset. You know, let me prepare that it might not be concrete. Things might not be concrete this year, but still work towards our goals, but be prepared for some change to come in. Be prepared for a tower to crumble in your world, but know that, hey, the towers crumble, but I can get back up. I've done this before, you know? So prepare your mindset that something new and dynamic is coming in. And when it does come in, I don't need to fear. I don't need to worry. I don't need to stress myself out. But what I do need to do is start thinking, how can I best build myself up, remain safe and at peace? And what new thing can I do while all of this change is coming in? And you know what helped me so much in 2020? Not so much what new can I do, but what do I already have that I can build more with. And to be honest with you, I'm still operating that way. 2020 showed me how to do so much more with less. And that's a pretty good tool to have in your bag. And I'm still operating that way right now. And it's allowing me to become more because I don't need as much as I needed before. And I could do twice and 3 times as much. True story, right? So change is coming. Winds of change are coming. Be prepared for it. Start to prepare your mind more than anything else. All right. And then we go into the last card, which is the East card, which is, what does this bring us? And this is the beloved. Now, isn't that beautiful? The beloved speaks of our hearts. And when I see this, I see passion, I see unconditional love, I see acceptance, I see worthiness, to be the beloved, also to be loved, So it's okay, so we're going to a new version of ourselves, as well as humanity is going to clear an octave and step into a new way of being. Now, that could happen very smoothly, or some people could resist that and go screaming and shouting. It's usually how it goes. So you have to decide for yourself, hey, do I want this, or do I want to scream and shout about it all day long while it's happening? Am I going to be with this? Am I going to be in flow with the universe and the changes that are happening? Or am I going to be in resistance, right? It's up to you. It all depends on what's aligned for you and what's not aligned for you, and what direction and what story you are living out and what chapter of your life you're living out. You have to decide that for yourself. But keep in mind that the reason why we are shedding and releasing something in the South is to come into more of a beloved experience of acceptance, unconditional love, to come into more of our divine hearts, right? So forgiveness, wholeness, oneness, right? Think of humanity being in a state of where everybody sees everybody else as the beloved, and everybody feels as the beloved, So this is where we're heading. This is the outcome of giving something up to get something more, and to allowing yourself to trust in the winds of change. You become whole. True story. All right. So the wheel is showing a lot of transition, but the wheel is showing there's purpose in it. The wheel is showing a lot of change, but the wheel is showing there's plan and purpose for it. Man, I'm gonna find that verse, but y'all know it. Y'all know I want to say it properly, and I know it's in my phone. All right, so we're gonna go over to the next layer of cards that I use. I'm gonna go over to the next layer of cards that I use, and I hope I'm able to do this with the screen share. All right, so the next layer was the Anubis Oracle. So I'll show y'all those cards. All right, so which up and it's stop. All right. So the first card that came out again in the south direction was thought. And again, you see everything is so far is talking about going up a notch. So because we're going up, we gotta let something go, right? And thought talks about that this throat chakra, right? And communication. Frozen again. So thought speaks about represents our throat chakra, our divine will, and communicating at a higher level. And why is it so important to communicate at a higher level? Is because what you speak, you manifest. What you speak is swirling around in that crown chakra. You're feeling it in the gut of your belly. You're rooted in it in your root chakra. You're walking on it on your feet, and then it comes out of your mouth. And then because it's coming out of this divine will center, which is your throat chakra, it manifests into existence. You speak it into existence. So the higher level of communication you have for yourself and the higher level of thought, THOUGHT, G in there someplace. THOUGHT, right? G, right? The higher level of thought you have, the words that you're speaking, you're able to manifest the higher existence and world and reality for yourself. We have to raise our perception. We have to raise our level of speech. We have to raise our expectation of existence for ourselves, because if we keep on speaking into our detriment, then we gonna be just down there. But if you're speaking into your greatness, you're speaking into your excellence, you're speaking into your prosperity, it happens. You have to speak it, you have to walk it, you have to think it, you have to feel it. And the more and more you do that, it raises your experience. All right. Architect of wisdom. So the architect is someone who builds. Every day you are building your future in the now by what you're saying. So what did you say? How you're the architect of your life. You're building your tomorrow today. What type of stones are you building your mansion with? I'm referring to myself now as a castle builder because of what I'm building now with my actions, with my words, with my thoughts. I'm building something big. I'm building a castle, right? So what are you building every day with your words, with your actions, with your thoughts, right? Are you building a castle or are you building your grave? And we all gonna die, but I'm just saying, are you building your coffin or are you building your castle? You can go both ways. Are you building your catastrophe or are you building something smooth that's gonna allow you to navigate and sail wherever you want to go. What type of boat are you building? One that's going to break down, or one that's going to get you to your destiny with your words, with your communication, with your thoughts, with your actions, right? Enlightened communication, affirmations, mantras, those are one of the most powerful tools that I think are around in terms of activating change and transformation in our lives. Because when you speak it and you feel it, like I like to dance and move to affirmations, right? When I'm driving, I'm saying my affirmations. When I wake up in the morning, I'm singing them. I wake up to an affirmation or a mantra thought. I go to bed and I speak it. When I'm speaking to people, I speak it, and I correct myself if I observe that, okay, you just said something you do not want to manifest. Nope. Erase that right away. Say it properly. So we have to be aware of our speech, because every word that we are speaking is speaking into our future. We are creating the future every day by what you're doing now. Future doesn't just land on your laps. All right, you're an architect. We are architects of our future. So then we go into Osiris, right? And Osiris was also upside down, right? So what are we doing here? And the West, the West is where we let things die. So I love when the West cards are just like upside down, like let this go, right? So Osiris speaks about transformation and beauty, right? Isn't that beautiful? So we're in the West now. So we got to get let die. Transformation and beauty? Nah, we got to let something die that helps us to transform and come into more beauty, right? And the whole story of Osiris is, remember, Osiris was cut up into 13 pieces. It's excellent that they have him as number 13 here. He was cut up into 13 pieces, and Isis had to put him back together, right? So the energy of this card is that we're coming back. The transformation is that you're coming back together. And whether that is your spirituality and your material self, your family, you're gathering your professional with your spiritual, with your family, with your relationships, you're putting your whole self back together. So we're releasing something again to come back into oneness. And that oneness brings us back into the beauty. And what is it that we're letting die? We're letting die, again, a portion of ourselves, a habit, a thought, a relationship, a career, all of this speaks to allowing ourselves to step into something new. Because again, this year is 2023. This is the beginning of a new decade. All right. We went from 2012. Remember when the whole Mayan calendar, December 2012, 2012, December, 12, 2012, right? That was the portal day, right? That everything was going to end, but it didn't. That decade ended and a new decade began, right? And then even December 22nd, 2022, that was a big energy day, right? Something cyclical ended and a new cycle began. So there are always cycles upon cycles upon cycles. It's not just 365 days and then stop. No, there's so many cycles within cycles within cycles within cycles. That's why it's good to know that other calendars exist, and there's cycles within cycles within cycles. There's worlds within worlds within worlds, and we really get to decide which worlds that we want to work with, and which wheel we really want to ride. We don't have to ride the same wheel. Anyway, but this transformation, we're now in a new decade. So we're again, and even March, March is the beginning of the zodiac calendar with Aries. So we had January and February just to kind of like figure out, hey, what is it really that I really am not moving forward with? March is now here to say, okay, Now we're going. We had, it's like winter we rest. And then we're getting prepared for spring. So between that winter and spring, we're releasing and then we're springing forward, right? So really that's what we've been doing. So this transformation to bring some beauty, the death to spring forward, the winter to spring forward. That's how it goes, right? That's the cycle of nature. That's the cycle of life, right? And that's too what we must do. And then we go into the north, and the north has Khepera, right? Now, Khepera is so many things with Khepera, right? So we could look at the beetle and we could look at the sun. But Khepera represents change, right? And this is in the north position, right? More change is coming in. And remember the first card in the north was the wind, right? So winds of change. Khepera specifically speaks of cycles of change, planetary guardian, and the spiral dance. And what's the spiral again? The spiral is the movement of life. The spiral is the creation. That's why 6 is creation. The spiral is the 9. That's why 9 is completion. That's why the 6 and the 9, that's why the 6 and the 9 come together, right? Because it spirals. You create to complete. Create, complete. It's the same thing in verse. Creation, destruction, completion, wholeness, right? It's the inverse of each other, right? So the spiral dancer is how everything is created in the universe, the spiral. I'm always trying to show this, but I can't figure it out. But anyway, the spiral, right? We know what the spiral looks like. So Khepera is the beetle, right? And in Egyptian mythology, Khepera represents the energy. It's like the guard of the sun while the sun is setting, right? And the beetle is rolling the sun into the underground or through the evening, the underground passage, and then raises it up for morning, right? So the planetary, so the beetle is assisting, is that energy between night and day that allows the sun to set, that receives the sun as it sets, and then allows the sun to rise up the next day. Every day is a dance of a death and rebirth. The death of the sun setting, and then rising again every day. And every day we have a brand new opportunity. We could decide to be in yesterday, or we could decide to think about the future, or we could decide to make the most of the new day, because every single day is a new day. It's really up to us which way we want to be pulled. Are we being pulled more to the past, what happened 5 years ago? Are we being pulled more to the future, or are we maximizing everything that we could create in the now, right? So this card shows that change is coming and planetary change, more importantly. So it really supports the south position, and that's good, because the south is saying let it go to the upper world, and the north is saying, hey, planetary change, this is why you need to go up, because we're going to change some stuff. We're changing some stuff. A huge change is coming. Now you can't control the huge change. Let's ground ourselves in this moment. Don't fear it. What do I tell myself? Akita, you have overcome so many things. You have navigated yourself successfully through so many things. Whatever comes your way, you can handle it. I tell myself that every single day. Okay. I told myself that in 2020. And I also said, no matter what comes, it is going to work towards my good. And it happened, right? So use that throat chakra of yours, that heightened communication, and speak into your future how you are going to navigate and overcome and thrive through these planetary changes. All right, because they're coming. Then we go into the north. And what does the north say? It's all for your sacred purpose. I'm going to try to multitask and find the exact words of that scripture. Okay. Your sacred purpose, the plans I have for you are for prosperity. All right. Remember that. Remember it. Your sacred purpose. Okay. So remember the beloved, your heart, soul, divine, sacred purpose. This is where we're heading. Don't look at the rain and think it's a storm. Don't tap into the news. Don't get caught up in the chaos. We're back to the advice of 2020. Don't get caught up in the chaos. They go low, you go high. They go crazy, you get smart. They make noise, you be still. Okay, talking about a 3D, 5D experience. You decide which one rocks your boat. Right? We're heading into the sacred purposes of our lives. And if you're not already on that path, what the changes that are coming are what's the word? The changes that are coming are there to help to mold and to forge you into those changes and into becoming, I say forging season. Things happen again to get you to your purpose. My mama used to say, Akita, you so stubborn, you don't listen, God pushes you out. And he pushed me out so many places. I listen now, so I don't get pushed out. I walk out on my own. Bye-bye. Right? I just walk out and, it's good, right? Love and release. Love and release, right? So all of these changes are coming for our sacred purpose. And this card has Pita representing our heart again, right? The age of Aquarius, unconditional love, acceptance, all that is heart, and humanity stepping into a collective, cohesive oneness, right? Newt is up here, right? It's the protection of the mother essence. The skies, the cosmic skies are supporting you. We have Gab, which is the green. That's the prosperity of the earth. That's what that represents, the earth and its prosperity and abundance. And Anubis is the shaman king, right? That representing opener of the ways and the transformation. So this whole card really kind of reads the other cards, kind of puts it all in the essence of this whole wheel that you're safe, you're protected in all of these changes that are coming. There's prosperity if you approach it properly, that it does take some Anubis, some transformation and shamans showing you the other side, for us to tap into more of the invisible, as opposed to just looking at what we can see, but tapping into the stillness of ourselves, our intuition, and becoming and allowing that transformation, right? And Pita, right? The age of Aquarius is here. We're approaching it we're approaching it even more, and just this whole 5D dimension of ourselves, which is, tapping into our soul nature versus our ego, and seeing the oneness of humanity as opposed to the duality. All right. So we're really going into a really beautiful season of life. And even though some days it wakes up and you look outside of yourself and outside of your experience, or maybe even within your homes and within yourself, and it feels and it looks crazy, but don't get just caught up in that, look at the long-term plan. And the long-term plan really is to get humanity to a better place. And we might have to go through some stuff, some ugly stuff to get there. But you don't necessarily have to go through some ugly stuff. And also, the world might be going through some ugly stuff, but that doesn't mean it has to be ugly for you. So that's even more important. Like, decide, and in this preparation, decide how all of these crazy things can happen. All the craziness of the world can happen. Remember, be in the world, but not of it, right? Be of it, but not in it, right? Take it either which way you want to take it, right? Because it could really apply either way, There's a safe detachment. That's one of the big things that I had to learn on my path. Safe detachment, where I can love someone, but I don't gotta be up under you, loving you. And I don't have to be loving you to the point where when they get in some trouble, that my life is now a disaster. Nah, so detached love, love them from a distance, I can be very empathetic towards other people's pain and suffering, but in that same moment, I'm glad that I'm not going through it, and I retain that joy, happiness for myself. I don't go down because everybody going down. I don't get sad because everybody's getting sad, So I've learned how to have my own emotions, as well as honor and respect, and be able to show compassion for other people while they're going through theirs. But hey, their story is not my story, So we kind of have to learn how to do that as humanity, allow people to have their emotions, but recognize they ain't your emotions, What's going on across the world is going on across the world, not in your home. What's going on across the street is going on across the street, not in your home. What's going on with your friends is going on with your friends. It don't have to be going on with you, So just keep that in mind. We don't have to jump on this bandwagon of despair and disparity. It's actually much healthier when you don't. That's what you really want to separate yourself from, right? Okay, so now we go into the third deck, right? And we're back into the South, right? So let's just do a quick recap of that one. Higher communication. We're putting ourselves back together, right? We've been separated, and now we're like, we're coming back into wholeness. We're gonna let go all of that separation. We're gonna speak into our higher selves. We're gonna connect with our higher selves and speak that into existence, speak into our futures and our upper world experiences. We're going to be prepared for these cycles of change that are coming. We're not going to get worried. We're not going to be fearful. We're not going to think the world is going to end. The ceiling is going to collapse. The boats are going to sink. The UFOs are coming. Let them come. You're going to be okay. Right? All of that is going to happen. And if your mindset is tapped in to the higher energy frequencies, it can't even touch you. True story. Because it's all about getting you to your sacred purpose. And it's all about getting humanity to a place where we're all actively working and doing our divine missions. Okay. So hold on to the bigger picture, the wider perspective. Don't get so caught up in the craziness of the world. Y'all know it's crazy. Turn it off. All right. Today, somebody was sending me something, and I'm like, why would I engage in this conversation? Like, really, sometimes people just want your whole day to be like chaotic. They pick it up from someplace else and say, here, look at all this chaos. No, thank you. No. All right, so let's go back into the South and let's see what the now the Mayan astrology deck. Now, this was the first card that came out, and as soon as I saw this is the South position, I was like, whoa, crossroads. We got to make a decision, change, again, this whole energy. When I was doing this card, I was doing this reading, first thing that came into mind was the energy was preparation and huge changes coming, right? So we have the eek, right? And I saw, like I said, I just saw crossroads, that T, that change. And I'll just show y'all all the cards for this one, because this deck, it's one of my newer decks, and I'm still kind of getting more and more familiar with the symbols, even though this is one of the calendars I've been using for so long, but still learning. I'm a student of life, right? So these two were really syncs. Now the harmonic, the hologram came in January, and it came in the north position. So one of the things I realized, it went from came in on the in the east position, the outcome position, but now it's in the west position, right? The shedding position. I forgot to change that, right? So, so it basically went from one side to the one side to the other, right? And it went kind of back, right? That would be like a time leap going back, like the wheel turned backwards, right? So I thought, oh, the hologram now. And you see the hologram is upside down. So I was like, it flipped. So the hologram talks about you go into your higher self again too, realizing that you are in a hologram right now, because there's a higher self that you're connected to, yet this is the visible self that you see. So the hologram is like, again, this mirror, this reflection. We're all right now. I am a hologram. This that you see is a hologram connected to something above me that you don't see. We're all operating as holograms. It's flipped and it's in the shedding. So what does that say to me? We're again going up, right? We're shedding that lower part of ourselves to see more of our higher self, because that's in the upside down position in the West, right? And what is this card actually? Sorry, I had to kind of like talk about both of them at the same time, because this card, Eek, says, come into wholeness of yourself. Right? So Eek is saying, hey, come into wholeness of yourself. And the hologram is saying, hey, allow your higher self to be in charge, right? So again, the card just keep on repeating the same message, right? But I want y'all to get the message, right? And I want to go into the book for these ones so you can really get the message. I'm going to read the shadow energy and the transformation energy, and you really get to see that clear picture. So let's do that quickly. For that, so that's Eek and hologram. And it's just 1 or 2 lines with that. All right, so the shadow wisdom for Eek. Choosing to see oneself as a victim rather than taking responsibility for creating one's reality. Doubting your connection to divinity, issues of separation, thinking you are separate from spirit. So you see, that's why they said we go into the upper world. Because that's what we letting go. We're letting go of that shadow of feeling that we're not one with spirit and we're disconnected and we're separate. Nah, we are the hologram. You got to understand that your physical self is just the hologram of your higher invisible self. Connected all as one, right? The shadow transformation is learn to sense and experience your connection with the divine by acting on inspiration as it comes to you. All right. And don't want to get too into that, but hey, you get the picture. And that's really the whole energy of this self-direction. Letting go of that shadow self to come into the oneness of who you are, truly are, right? And then the hologram, and I wrote about the hologram because the hologram came out again in the January reading, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the hologram represents quantum leap into light, overview, reflected image of the one, greater reality, expanded viewpoint, evolution into wholeness, and entering into the big story, right? In the midst of the collective trance, it is easy to see yourself as imperfect and unworthy. Release your self-limitations. You are literally creating reality with your perceptions. Receiving this lens indicates that healing any perception of isolation or separation from unity with source is a major life lesson. So that's what we letting go. We're letting go the smallest stories really that we have been taught to and programmed into accepting of who we are as human beings. And that's why I said this is a huge shift. Now, what's gonna come to get everybody to make these shifts on a collective thing? We don't know, but trust me, it's gonna come, right? So, and it's gonna help to wake all of us up and push all of us into more of our divine nature, our spiritual self, our sacred purposes. All right, be ready for it. It's coming. Right? And then we go into the north, harmonic resonance and ebb. All right. So when I did this first, I can't remember what harmonic convergence, sorry. Harmonic convergence also was in the last reading, I think, too. And again, harmonic convergence is about the number 8. And again, that number 8, what comes after 7? 8, right? 8 is also an octave. Like when we're going into the next level of ourselves, it's another octave. Another octave. The 8 is also representing of eternity, the infinity sign, well, it's 8 and then it's the infinity sign. What is that infinity sign represents your higher self and your lower self, right? The union of it all, really the hologram, just the hologram as a curved edges as opposed to the triangle, right? So harmonic convergence, eternity, your infinite self, your eternal self. And also like in terms of time, I do see we're going around the loop of a circular time loop, a cycle. I think one of the big things we need to release in this decade is 2 things: death is opening into another experience of life, and time is not linear. If humanity can embrace those notions that death doesn't mean the end, but a beginning, and an end is a beginning, and a beginning is an end. So in oneness, it's just a change of state, gas, solid, liquid, and that time does not start here and end there, and it's a straight line. There are no straight line clocks. Show me one. Right? Why all the clocks round? Right? Time moves in a circle motion. It's not linear. Never was, never will be. All right. So unless your mindset says it is, and that's how powerful the mind is. Because once you decide it and believe it, it becomes your reality. So what we are experiencing a lot too as humanity is that we have believed a lot of inaccurate things. And a lot of those things we have to shed collectively as humanity in order to step in to a new version of ourselves, the harmonic convergence. Okay. And then ebb. And look at the color. Golden. Good things are coming. Right? So again, this shedding, this releasing, this letting go is to come into the next octave of ourselves, to tap into more prosperity and abundance and the flow, the ebb and flow, to be in union with nature. Let's go to the book again to get just a little more details on both of those for you. And again, harmonic convergence, I think it was in the last wheel too. I can't remember specifically, but I have a feeling it was. And then we're going to go into ebb. I have ebb right there. Harmonic convergence is, just read a little bit of that for you quickly. And it's the number 8. Pierced by the harmonic of the one heart, you sing ecstasy's song. Join in singing the dream awake. Qualities: empowerment, galactic grid, path of the one heart, and solar passage. And it was upside down. Yeah, it was upside down on the reading when it came in, right? 8 is but it doesn't matter because it's the number 8, right? So if it's upside down, it's still number 8. Or we could say if it's upside down, again, we're going up to the higher self of ourselves, because, so we can invert it, but it's still pointing us to go up, right? It's all about perception and mindset. So 8 is the ray of harmonic resonance, the foundation of self combined with the current of the Trinity. It is love made visible. Create the flow of harmony in your life. Enter the spiral frequencies of the greater galactic grid. You are being offered empowerment through your innate resonance with the grid. Be aware of where you are drawn and invited, for there you will find unique opportunities. Discover the harmony of being in this natural resonance with others. Be receptive. You are the diviner of harmony, the meeting ground of physical reality and the infinite. Bring a deeper harmony to the practical circumstances in which you find yourself. Free the ego from the self-centeredness. Embrace the potent energies that are raising the harmonic frequencies of the planet. Breathe easily. You are the song being sung by the new golden octave. Sound the resonant tone of one heart, beloved. 8 is the number of solar passage into a higher octave of being. Its shape symbolizes as above, so below, in ever successfully higher spirals of light. 8 represents the completion of sevenfold evolution, heralding the way for the earth to move into a 12-fold spiral of solar evolution. Listen, I didn't say it. Kepler said it, and the wind said it, okay? They're all in the same position, the north. Change is a coming. Be ready for it. And Eb says, beautiful Eb says, because Eb is in what's to come, right? Beautiful Eb says, actually represents the element of fire, right? So fire is transformation, change. But the shadow is here. Well, let's look at the transformation because this is the outcome, right? Let's look at the transformation and then I'll mention the shadow. The transformation is becoming self-nurtured by doing what brings you joy and fulfillment. Sacred purpose. Beloved, right? See the cards, they supported each other. They confirmed each other. That's why the message, I was like, woo. That's why I like doing layers of decks, right? So become self-nurturing by doing what brings you joy and fulfillment. Be willing to not know and trust and just surrender. Even though I do these, I still, there's a lot I don't know. And I trust. In some moments I have to trust. I'm like, you know what, Akita? Let's just let it play out how it's going to play out. I got it. I got me. And the universe has me. I know that. Be willing to not know, to be empty so that you can be filled by expanded consciousness. Befriend your mind, use your body as a receptor for higher frequencies. And I told y'all, like, this year, get your bodies in shape, get your body and your money in shape. No pun intended, right? Because your body is that tuner. That's why I don't have to listen to the news. That's why I don't have to tap into all these things, because really, I could just go outside and channel. I could come here, sit to my deck and channel. Don't worry about what channel 7 and channel 8 and channel Fox and SMS and all them channels, what they're receiving. They don't receive the messages I receive. And it's okay because I like the messages I'm getting. It's much better for me. These messages empower me. Those messages don't empower me. I still listen to it though, but I don't buy into it. I just observe it to see what's out there. And it also gives me good markers of where we are at, which stages we're reaching too. Just like I do this, I have an eye out there and I have an eye in here, right? And an eye right there. So I'm using all my eyes, right? So Eb talks about that. The shadow is issues of fulfillment. Issues of fulfillment, abundance, insufficiency, lack, issues of the mind, overhauling, and devaluing the intellect. So we don't want to go there. Remember, we spoke about that at the beginning with thought. Raising your communication, your expanded communication, your architecture of wisdom. So we got to speak into it. Don't let it be your shadow. Transform that into fulfillment and joy and creating a life of and reality of love and sacred purpose. That's what we're doing here. That's what I've been doing. That is truly what I've been doing for the past couple of years. And 2020 did not mess it up. 2020 supported it completely. And here I am now. It's ringing in my ear right now. So we've hit a tone. We've hit a tone. It's ringing in my ear going on right now. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that confirmation. All right, the last one. The last one. Man, I hope this Zoom keeps on going. The last one. All right, so the last deck is a Lemurian deck. Hold on, let's stop this. Start it again. The last deck is the Lemurian deck, and look what's the first card that came out on the South. Spiritualizing matter. I mean, ooh, look how, Anyway, spiritualizing matter. Oh, and that just, that's why my ear was like, yeah, there's something good. You hit it. You hit a good tone. I did. I hit a frequency. Spiritualizing matter, right? The ethers and matter, right? That's where we getting all this information from. That's where we're tuning into source. We're tuning into our higher self. We're tuning into the ethers. We're tuning into what is within us and above us. We're tuning into the messages. We're tuning into the dreams. We're tuning into the voices inside us, the intuition, the ringing in our ears. We're tuning in. All right. So that's in the South. So we're tuning out all the garbage, man. We're tuning out the 3D. We're tuning out so much that no longer serves us. We're tuning out the junk. We're tuning out the chaos. We're not into it anymore. We're stepping up. We're releasing. I mean, this whole wheel is talking about ether coming into matter and really as the human being, we're stepping into more of our soul purpose, and we're not being shut down by our ego saying, no, you can't do that, you can't be that, no, you're gonna suffer, you're gonna be punished, you're gonna what? You're gonna thrive. You're gonna thrive if you allow your soul to guide you and your higher self to guide you. And it takes breaking down some doors. It takes facing your fears. It takes walking away from some people and some habits and some situation. Yes. And that's the hard part, because we make it hard because we're stuck in our comfort zones. But it doesn't mean that what's coming for you ain't grand and beautiful and lovely and better than what you're experiencing now. Truth. I'm here to tell you it. Report the good news, right? So spiritualized matter, new life, sparkles, bedding in the light, right? And that's what we're doing. We're bringing in more light into our lives, into our bodies. We're becoming more spiritualized human beings. You have a physical self and you got a spiritual self. We are now allowing our spiritual natures to shine. Okay, then we go into the West, and what are we shedding? In the ways of the pearl. And just notice all that. Well, this is the Lumerian deck, but just all that blue water energy, right? Because we're in this whole Pisces season too. We're in the Aquarius, which is air, but the air and the water, So that symbolism of the water energy to this year is very powerful, right? Very, very powerful. The air and the water, really, both of them. Very powerful elements for us during this 7-year, right? The wisdom, right? And our thoughts, right? And our wisdom and our thoughts, our mind and our emotions, tapping into, because the water is our emotions. The water represents to our emotions, and standing on our emotions, calming our emotions. If the waters get rough, that's the whole Jesus walked over water. That was having control over emotions. He wasn't toppled over by his emotions or sunk down by his emotions, but having control over our emotions so that we can walk and flow and ride the waves smoothly. So Way of the Pearl also talks about our purity and discovering our purity within the evolution of ourselves, right? Going through the waves of our lives, liminal spaces, new energies, trust, and time of growth. So, and when we emerge, isn't it just a beautiful card? I love this card, really. It's one of my favorite cards just to look at. The weight of the pearl, right? When we have to go deep into ourselves in order to find the pearl, deep into the waters of ourselves, right? In order to find this beautiful purity and essence, this luminescent being, which is ourself. You are luminous. You are beauty. You are purity. right? But we find this as we are willing to go more and more in the depths of ourselves. The pearl is found closed up into a shell. So not only is it deep, it's then in a shell, and we got to open that up and discover this beauty, discover the beauty of yourself, right? And allowing that exploration, giving yourself that space in order to become, right? And that resting in order to become, and that retreat, going inside in order to become this beautiful pearl, right? So again, in that death, because that pearl doesn't start as a pearl, right? I don't even know what pearls start as, right? But there's this transformation, and then you open it up, and there's this beautiful pearl. So this, again, this energy of transformation and becoming something more beautiful. So we're letting this aspect of ourself, our ego, die to become the pearls, to bring forth the pearls within us, the luminous essence, the pure essence of ourselves, okay? And what does that bring us to? Into the north, that earth angel, right? After we allow and go into the depth of ourselves, then we become somebody that's almost angelic and able to help others, because we're not carrying any density anymore, and we can share our wings. we could we can show our wings and fly. We can share our love and compassion and kindness and empathy with others. But remember, angels stay high above, and angels are angles of light. An angel, again, if we want to go, I turn everything into energy, a number, or a color. That's my science. That's my religion. That's my spirituality, right? Those things, numbers, colors, and energy, all the same. So an angle, I was taught that an angel is an angle. Just change the L and the E. No pun intended, L, right? So angle, L, is an angel, is an angle of light. So let's see, 0 degrees, that's no light in. 90 degrees, that's more light in. 120, then 360, right? So the wider the angle, or the bigger the angel, the more light should be coming through, right? So as we allow these beautiful thoughts to come into our minds, it allows these angels, these angles of light to come into our thoughts, and it raises our perspective, and then we start to have a different experience with the world. All right. Yeah. The fulfillment, the joy, kindness, sensitivity, strength, higher perspective, and divine abilities. You see, every card is just speaking to every other card. It's a very powerful message that these wheels, these 4 wheels, really wanted me to deliver, and that's why I had to bring it this way. We're really stepping into a new season, but again, it's the preparation of your mind for it, and the willingness of your soul and your stomach and your heart, and your willingness to go through the changes in order to get to a higher self, right? A higher experience, and your trust and surrendering. And then what does it bring us to? What's the outcome? And this was so beautiful. Really, it really was. Language of light. And some people are like, what is that really? And language of light could be interpreted in so many different ways, right? But there's light language. It's the language that, what did I say? I boil everything down to numbers, colors, and energy. That's language of light. Somebody said to me, Archangel Michael yesterday, and I said, oh, throat chakra, solar plexus, blue and orange combined. Right? So that's what it all, so that's how my brain works. I go into the symbolism, and usually the symbolism, excuse me, breaks down to an energy, a number, or a color. So hey, here we are. So the light language is that, the language that you look like when you're outside and you feel that sun on your skin, it makes you feel something. Languages don't always use words. Music is a language. When you immerse yourself into water, there's a conversation that's happening there, and it speaks to you, and it speaks to us in different means. So light language is about your perception and your heart, really. It's almost like this conjunction between your heart and your mind, and that relationship allowing you to understand a language of light, the subtle energies, the subtleness of life, right? Universal language of oneness, of love, and listening with your heart. Being able to see really beyond the 3D and to see deeper into the higher message. Is not surface, but it's really the depth of what is behind the image that you're seeing. I was listening to something a couple months ago, and I just love this, how they described it, and I never thought about it that way, but I was like, yeah, that's it. It's like when we look at the sky in the day, we see the sun, but at night, when we look at the sky, we have all of these, we have the moon, and then we have all these planets in the background. Those planets are there. It's just that the sun is so big, we don't see it. So light language is almost like that. It's almost being able to see all those planets and stars and stuff like that while the sun is still shining, because you understand that, yeah, there's something that I'm seeing, but there's a communication, and there's something beyond that of which I'm seeing, and I can feel that, and I can tap into that as well. And then there's actual script, right? So this was the reading. I think it's done. It's a beautiful message of change. You see how also there's so much energy of, there's a big change coming, and there's a shift coming for the collective, but that also means you got to change your mindset. You got to be ready. You got to guard up your heart. Don't be like Wizard of Oz Scarecrow, right? The Tin Man, and like, nah, we're not doing that. It's 2023. We should have learned some real potent lessons going through 2020. No matter what you did, how you did it, there was some real lessons to learn, and some real gifts and wisdom tools that were really teaching us and forging us into now. So we need to take those lessons, whether they're regrets and, oh, hindsight, or hey, I'm going to do what I did, or I'm not going to do what I did, however you want to shake it. We got to take those lessons from 2020, 2021, 2022, hold on to them, be firm with them. And when we see these boats starting to rock and cradles starting to shake and all that type of stuff, we got to remember the lessons. We got to remember the purpose of the plans of the previous years, and know that we can thrive, right? This is something that I came across yesterday. I did not take this picture. I was scrolling on Facebook and I found it. And like I said, I've been, these readings, I do them a little bit differently. Sometimes I write them out. Sometimes I do videos. Sometimes I've been, trying to different ways to deliver the message, because that's the main thing, the message that is presented to me and that I present to you guys. So, but one of the things I am doing is when I do the readings, especially for the collective, I tend to sit on them now for a little while and observe and then release them, because I'm also deciding how to release it. And in that observation between last week and this week, not only did a lot of these things, I saw confirmations of a lot of these things, and I saw other people speaking of them, and I was like, oh, there's that, there's that, there's that, But I also yesterday came across this beautiful, beautiful picture. Oh, and then this is just all of the all of the different wheels. All of the different wheels combined there. So you can see the shaman medicine wheel, the Egyptian astrology, the Mayan light language, and then the Lumerian deck, right? So those are just the 4 decks, 4x4, right? And then, so I was just scrolling through some stuff yesterday and I came across this beautiful picture, not taken by me, not my picture, but it just happened to be in this thing when I was preparing and I was like, oh, it's right there. I got to show it. So I will. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And the first thing I saw when I saw that was some light language. All right. So let it be whatever it needs to be for you. But this is a new season we're in. This is a beautiful year, 2023. It's a 7 year. I know it well. I'm a 7. Trust me, there's lots of magic, lots of adventure, but there's also lots of wisdom, lots of intellect, and you have to pay attention. It's connecting a lot of things. So, but it's here to grow you and to transform you. And it's here to support the becoming of your best self, because that's what 7s do. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it served you. I love serving you this way. And just remember that we are here to learn and to love and to experience and to enjoy life. And the more prepared we are and the more adaptable we are, we really can really create the reality that we want to, as opposed to just accepting what others want for us. This is potential and this is opportunity. What you make out of it is all up to you. My name is Akita Akari Aurora, and you have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe. Mwah.